you a songwriter? Are you looking to turn your songwriting passion into a full-time gig? Whether you are just at the start of your songwriting journey or a seasoned industry professional, this show is made for you. Welcome to The Songwriter Show, bringing together songwriting news, interviews, and community. Now, welcome your host, Sarantos.
Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome back to The Songwriter Show. I'm your host, Sarantos, a solo music artist who's been writing lyrics for as long as I can remember. Words are so important to me, and that's why I love hosting this show for you every single Tuesday evening. I believe that every single song is an important story. Tonight, I'm so excited to have on the show Melas Leukos. She's an ethereal singer-songwriter weaving myth, spirit, and sound to something both ancient and otherworldly. Rooted in transcendent folk and shaped by the cycles of death and rebirth, her music feels like a journey through the underworld, where surrender transforms into awakening and loss gives way to luminous expansiveness.
And now, welcome this week's special guest.
Welcome to the show. How are you tonight, Melas?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. So thanks for doing the show, and I think the fans will be a little excited to get to know you tonight.
Wonderful. I'm looking forward to it.
So tell us a little bit about your instrument. What's your main instrument? Is it your voice? Is it something else?
I would say it's my voice, which I then use the guitar to bring out the voice and to create the shape of sound.
Okay. And how would you describe your sound?
My sound is often described as ethereal, otherworldly. So maybe it's like a whole new category. It's like an ethereal, transcendent folk sound.
Was your family musical at all? Or are you the first one to kind of do this in your family?
My mom had a very deep love for singing, and it's not something she got to pursue. And so there's a bit of a lineage in the vocal capabilities in my family.
And tell us a little bit about your songwriting process. Is it something you do? Do you have a collaborator? How does that work for you?
I write my songs on my own, and there's a few ways that they come into being. So one of the ways is I'm somebody who does a mumble track. So I will pick up the guitar, I'll find sort of a riff or a series of chords that match the feeling that is in my body that day. And I'll sort of mumble the first lyrics that just sort of come out, more like a channel. And then I'll shape the song around that first section. Other times, something will just come in out of the blue and I'll just get the melody. And I'll get those first couple of lyric lines with just melody. The third way is a more experimental process where I'll feed the guitar into an amp or a speaker and I'll do feedback loops, and then I can hear in between the frequencies melodies that you wouldn't be able to hear otherwise, and I'll pull that melody out and shape a song around that.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Are there any famous musicians that you admire, respect, or try to emulate?
I would say admire and respect, yes. Trying to emulate, not so much. Bjork is one of my just long time since I was preteen. I've been very attuned to her sound. You know, the classics, Joan Baez, Joni Mitchell, and then the artists influenced by her would be like Alila Diane is one of my favorite folk singers, and Joanna Newsom. And then moving into more beat electronic space, I really love the work of James Blake. So I tend to move in and out of different genres and then weave them together in what influences me, but not intentionally. Does that make sense?
Oh, perfectly. I think the old way of doing it was people were pigeonholed in a genre. Now I think we're all experimenting and doing cross-genre kind of experimentation.
Definitely.
Tell us about you. How often do you practice? Do you practice every day, once a week? Singing, writing lyrics? How often do you do that?
It's usually a daily practice for me, and it just depends on what I have going on. So right now I have a show this month. So most days I'm going to be doing vocal warm-ups. I'm going to be tuning into the set and rehearsing that, not because I don't know the songs, but more because I really want that feeling and that muscle memory to just be like water or air that moves through with such ease. And the songwriting process, that really comes more in moody spaces. So I don't often sit down and say, I'm going to write today. It's something, a feeling comes over me. I sit down and I start to write, and the pieces of the song come in, and that's more organic.
Tell us about this song that we're going to hear in a few minutes. What inspired this one?
Magic is Alive. That one was a piecing together of various experiences in my life at that time. I was in graduate school. I went to a school for transforming consciousness, and I was in a really deep metamorphosis, and there were various spiritual messages and allies and feelings that had been coming to me that I wanted to bring through in the story of a song. And the main character of the song really is the snake that rises up the spine. And it's really an ode to that capacity to stay grounded through transformation and to hear the shimmer beneath the silence and call it forth, to develop a devotion to the quiet spaces and really listening underneath, because when we do, that's where the magic really unfolds and comes alive. And so the song is really an invocation to that.
Okay, wonderful. So, do you have anything exciting for the fans in the next year that you want to share?
Oh, yes. Right now, I'm in the dream space and crafting space of an offering around. It's a trauma-informed songwriting and vocal immersion, or workshop, if you will, where we move through the different areas and layers of your life to see where can we unlock the sound and connect you to your own personal story and your own personal empowerment. I myself am a full-time psychotherapist, and so I work a lot in the spiritual realms, and I work a lot with the body and for releasing trauma. And so much of individuals' inability to sing or to speak the way they want to is around that trauma. And so I'm feeling really passionate about bringing this offering in for the fans and for the people to be able to connect on those deeper levels and help them find their own story, their own sound, and their own capacity to bring that out.
Wonderful. Okay. I'll tell you what, let's take a listen to your song, then we'll come back and talk a little more, okay?
Great.
Awesome. All right, everybody, check this out. Here we go.
Rise through
Thank you so much for sharing that song with us tonight.
Thank you so much for playing it. I'm really excited for the listeners to get to hear it. And it's very much medicine for these times right now, as we are in the year of the snake. I have multiple planets in retrograde, and a lot of people are feeling this tension, this undoing, and the liminal area that we're in. And I'm hoping that this song can be an anthem, a comfort, and anchor for them during such layered spaces of unfolding.
Yeah, okay. Do you ever get nervous before a performance?
Every time. Not nervous in a way that I can't do it. It's just the nervous system. So I've realized that I just have to tune my nervous system. And that's why I rehearse so much, so that my body can just handle the amount of energy and output. And oftentimes when I'm rehearsing, really what I'm rehearsing is how to make it through the mistakes. So if my voice breaks or I miss a note, what I'm really practicing is the fluidity of just keeping going.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. What do you do if you are live, performing somewhere and you make a mistake?
I just keep going. You just keep going. I was in a folk duo once, and I remember I just completely forgot what I was doing in the middle of the song. I just went somewhere else. And I just kind of came back in when it was time. And when I'm on my own, if it's just myself and a guitar, I can kind of gracefully come in and do something, weave it back together. Or if there's a really big mess up, which I've never really had, but if there's a really big mess up, I'm really not opposed to just being like, you know what? Hey, everybody, I'm just going to start this one over. I've seen really big musicians do that, and I deeply respect it. And there's a lot of permission there to just be a human who's making music and live on stage. And I actually really love when someone makes a mistake on stage.
I agree. I think that's a live show, right? It's human. It's not like we can perfectly edit video and audio and all these things, but when you're up there, it's just anything goes, right?
Yeah, it's that total acceptance of the self. I just played a small set over the weekend, and I think there was one or two moments where my voice just did a little crack or this or a something. And really what I tune to in those moments is that that's not what people are paying attention to. They're really hooked into the story, the feeling, and to love myself enough to feel their love, to feel their appreciation of the music, and that they're probably not picking me apart. So it's a really wonderful practice in self-acceptance.
Tell us about one of the best books you've ever read.
Oh, wow. Let me ponder that. Well, this is funny. There's a series that I've been reading for the last handful of years because there's 14 books in the series and they're 700 to 1,000 pages each. And it's called The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. And it's just this epic narrative of the division of power and how the masculine breaks the power in the beginning of time. And so the legends unfold. And it's this wonderful display of how power is manifested through masculine and feminine and what that could really look like. And, there's actual magic and sorcery. And I just love anything that's got fantasy to it and some sort of overarching story for the evolution of our consciousness that's woven into myth and story so I can follow along and connect really deeply.
Tell us about your favorite superhero. Who's your favorite superhero?
Oh, I mean, for me, my superheroes are going to be more of the mystics, more of the gurus. So
Stephen Strange or who?
Well, they're not actual superheroes. It's just who I would call a superhero. So for me,
okay.
Holy Mother Mary is more of a superhero than the superhero. I don't know a ton of this. I know like of Wonder Woman, or you'd have to ask me, I think more of like which powers would I resonate with because I'm not as familiar with the superhero world.
My next question is, what powers would you resonate with or would you want to have?
Ah, yes. In this dimension, probably some form of, what do you call it? Just being able to apparate, like move from one area to another in a split second. Teleportation.
Okay.
Just because traveling is so exciting, but the the actual travel is challenging and exhausting. So I would love to just be anywhere in the world at any time.
All right. What was your first job?
Oh, my first job, there's two versions of that. So one of them is I was a little artistic entrepreneur when I was younger. I loved to make bookmarks and dream catchers and sell them door to door. And then my official first job was in a chocolate shop on the plaza in Kansas City, where I'm from. And it fulfilled my first dream, which was my whole dream when I was younger was to be a chocolatier so I could eat as much chocolate as I wanted whenever. And so I got to get that one off the bucket list.
Is there like a favorite podcast you have for a commute or for just pleasure?
Yes, it's The Emerald is my absolute favorite, where he goes really deep into the mythopoetic, archetypal, natural world. And it's always inspiring and deeply connects me each time.
Tell us about a cool road trip you've been on.
I think one of my favorite road trips was when I was figuring out where I wanted to go in my career and my life. And so when I was 27 or 28, I just got in the car and I packed for every season and I headed southwest. And I ended up in Arizona and California, then down to Mexico, back to California, and then I flew to Kauai and came back. And my favorite version of a road trip is where there's not an end date and you don't really know what's going to happen. And it's just that magic of possibility.
If there's a piece of advice you wish you hadn't ignored when you started out, can you tell us what that was?
Hadn't ignored. That I don't know if that resonates. I feel like I'm a little bit of an anarchist when it comes to doing things in a certain way, but it's more around the advice that people would give would be like, you have to keep the momentum going and you just really have to push hard and you have to meet these expectations. And my world has been more sort of undoing that and saying, actually, I can take rest when I need, and music can look different and performing can look different. And we can just dream into that and find a new way of being.
So I'll tell you what, tell us about where fans can find your music, where they can stream your stuff online.
They can buy music on Bandcamp and on iTunes. And then they can stream anywhere that streaming's available. So iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, all major spaces. It's pretty accessible.
I want to thank you so much for being on the show tonight. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. It was lovely to get to speak.
You're very welcome, man. To all the fans tonight, we both thank you so much for tuning in. If you're a songwriter with a story to share, please, we'd love to hear from you. Head over to songwritershow.com and submit the interview request form. To all our other listeners out there, I hope this episode has inspired you to explore your own stories through music. My name is Sarantos. As always, it's been a pleasure having you with me tonight on a Tuesday night. Join me every single Tuesday night to hear all these incredible artists share their stories all around the world. Have a great night, everybody. I love you all.
Thank you for listening to The Songwriter Show. To keep the momentum going, head over to www.songwritershow.com and join our free music community of artists, songwriters, and producers. That's www.songwritershow.com.